Open heart, open mind. Welcome to the Sattva channel. Um, the Sattva project wishes to bring together a diverse group of leading spiritual leaders, teachers, scholars, experts, artists, media makers, advocates, and activists committed to spiritual and social change and transformative evolution. So, welcome to our Sattva channel, and my name is Samiksha.
And I'm Samiksha Kambi. We both are from Sattva Youth. It is also a program initiated by the Sattva Project for bringing and bridging Dharma with youth.
So, before we begin with our session, let me thank our broadcast director, Brother Ray. And Brother Ray, would you like to say hi to our audience, please?
Welcome and thank you for joining us. Please help us by giving us a like and sharing this video. If you are watching this on YouTube, do subscribe to our channel. Now back to you.
Thank you, Brother Ray.
Thank you, Brother Ray.
So let us begin with our discussion, which is Joyful Living series, Music to Transform a Turbulent World. First, let's introduce to our moderator and speakers.
So, the moderator for today's program is Raymond Lam. Raymond Lam is senior writer at Buddhist Global. He has been a Chinese Buddhist layman since 2008 and began working for the Buddhist Tour organization in 2010. An alumnus of the School of Oriental and African Studies and the University of Queensland, he is a trustee of the Haythorpe Association.
Welcome, brother.
Good
Very warm
evening.
welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Our first contributor of tonight's session is Imee. Malaysian music. She is a Malaysian music and organizations around the world.
Hello,
Imee's
Samiksha.
work have also been regarded as a significant
I
milestone
think we
in the
lost her. So
growth.
let me complete. So Sister Imee, Malaysian music producer, composer, arranger, and vocalist, founder of IMM Music World in 1997. Imee has now released more than 50 albums of her own and has produced countless musical works for Buddhist societies and organizations around the world. Emmy's works have also been regarded as a significant milestone in the development of Buddhist music, with a wide range of compositions sung in 7 different languages. The chant of Metta, Om Mani Padme Hum, the Great Compassion Mantra, the Pragyaparmita Hridaya Sutra are among some of Emmy's most praised work. The composer and musical director of the musical Siddhartha, About Full Moon, Master Hong Yi's biography, Jewel of Tibet, Princess Wengchen, and The Perfect Circle. Imee is also the recipient for the Best Origin Music and Music Director Awards in the 2009 and 2010 Bo Cameronian Arts Award Musical Theatre category. To spread the Dharma through music has become the life destiny of everyone.
Good
Thank you,
evening.
Sister Debbie.
Hello. Hi. Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining
Hello,
us.
Brother Raymond.
Hello, sister.
Samiksha?
Our next contributor is Drukmo Gyal. Drukmo Gyal was born into a family of Nakpas, mantra tantric ritual practitioners, and grew up in multi-ethnic community in Rebkong in the Amdo region of Tibet, where mantra and meditation were an integral part of her daily life from a young age. Drukpo Gyal studied traditional Tibetan medicine in Amdo before working for Sorikang Estonia and studying under Doctor Nida Chensang, a traditional Tibetan physician and lineage holder of the Yuthok Nyingtik, the unique spiritual healing tradition of Tibetan medicine. In her 2016 TEDx talk, Drukpo Gyal explains the power and positivity of the feminine and the importance of women within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Drawing from the sacred sounds of mantras and prayers within this tradition, Drukpo Gyal combines her heavenly voice and her understanding of Tibetan medicine to create a healing consort for body, speech, and mind. She has curated 5 albums of Tibetan healing mantras and prayers with musicians from around the world and has traveled to more than 30 countries for her concerts, lectures, and courses. A warm welcome to the session.
Touch delay, touch delay.
Ashitele. Hello, Drukmo.
Hi.
Nice
So
to
nice
see you again. Yeah, so nice to see everybody again. Yeah.
Hello, Drukmo. Great to have both of the Buddhist worlds, two of the Buddhist worlds, great musicians, singers with us tonight. And I'm so excited to, be part of tonight's stream because in Hong Kong, we've just had the Katina ceremony, the robe offering ceremony. So actually, I've just come back from the ceremony today, and I'm feeling particularly spiritually charged and inspired. And I thought that would be a nice theme to sort of kick off on, not Katina specifically, but I have been reflecting on what inspired us to make Buddhism the fulcrum of our life's purpose. I like to think of Buddhism in a more general way. So even though Imee and Drukmo Gyal, you are singers, you embody the Dharma through music, but I mean that's just the instrument, that's just the means, the medium. And so I would like to broaden our discussion a little bit and sort of just have a little bit of a conversation about how you came to devote yourself, how you feel about Dharma as your life's purpose, and I'm sure you'll invoke your musical career. You bring it into it, but feel free to speak more generally about what inspired you to be Buddhist in a sense. Who would like to start first? Would anyone?
Drukmo,
Any
would you like to
takers?
start first?
please start. I will wait to
Oh,
hear
you will
your
wait. So I have to start first.
please.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think for me, how I became a Buddhist was like a path unknowingly, unplanned, and uninspired, should I say that? It's not like there was this one experience or an incident or a calling, the sort of thing that and I saw sort of I said I stumbled onto this path. Of course, I call myself a Buddhist from young, but in Malaysia, we were not told like is there a difference between Taoism or traditional prayers like we do daily for blessing and for security, for prosperity, in contrary to gain like to gain wisdom, compassion, cultivate this. But of course, all these values are important. But I was always thinking this compassion, loving, harmony, it was always taught by our parents or our grandparents. So for my young age, I never knew that Buddhism actually teaches us all these values and in so much more depth that I later found out that it's like beyond. This is like the teaching of the cosmos to how we can sort of reduce our suffering or end our suffering eventually. So it was music that brought me into really seriously learning the Dharma. So I can't say I'm inspired, music inspired me or Buddhist music inspired me, but rather, there was no like this beginning and then the end. It's not like this is the yin and the guo. So I was a music teacher all along, just like running through my daily life, teaching piano to students to earn a living. I have a very good family that everybody's happy. We like to sing, we like to play piano, we like to share the good values. And my parents and grandparents is always teaching us from young how to treat people well, treat people good. We should not do bad. This is like this simple, more natural than nothing value that we learned throughout. But then come to this point of my life, in my early 30s, that so I will skip this long story why I suddenly I want to introduce myself as a composer, and I know I want to venture into more than just a piano teacher. So it was because that I needed more, how do I say, more income, the very realistic part of this part of my life, that I thought, oh, actually I could compose music. I thought my musical talent, if I should call it a talent, is maybe more than just teaching the syllabus. So I went on and introduced myself bravely, and then that few years I succeeded very well. So I started writing music for a lot of programs and musicals and stuff like this. And then there was then that there's this affinity, we call it yuan fen, that somebody gave me a Sanskrit version of the Heart Sutra. And then Sanskrit is one word that probably have not even came across in my life before that. Sanskrit, oh, it is an ancient language of Buddhism, or it started from India. But then I said, wow, this sounds interesting. So when I started reading up and how should I pronounce it, and then I did some research through YouTube, like how the monks chanted or some scholars chanted, and I said, to make this syllabus into become a lyric and put it into music is going to be very challenging, especially the Heart Sutra. It is not like a lyric that you have this verse and choruses that like a poem, and the words you have designed in such a way that you can write music in a very how to say, it has got a format. But this is like, it's just translation. They're long and short sentences, and some sentences are so long that you don't know where you should put the punctuation. So that point of my life became, now I look back, it became that the most inspirational or challenging or most happening time of my life. Because after that one Sanskrit Heart Sutra I wrote and sang myself, and then I never look back. It actually brings me one step and one step further. It opens up so many interesting leaf of life, unfolding chapter after chapter until, so recalling that this is 1998. So how many years is that? 98. So it's almost 25 years to come. Yeah. So yeah, I think then after that, there are so many things that inspired me, the people, my fans or my listeners, the audience, people who continuously giving me more and more text, because I don't consider myself as a learned Buddhist or a Dharma practitioner, but I was just someone who happened to sing a good, did a good production or sing a good song on the Sanskrit Heart Sutra, the Prajnaparamita. So people start looking me and up and give me so many texts. So I think these are teachers. It's like, now I look back, it's like, it just showers like, from heaven, from heaven or from wherever the cosmos, that text after text, sutras after sutras, mantras after mantras, prayers, dedication line in all sorts of languages that you can find in Buddhism. So today I can claim that I have sang almost 8 to 9 languages, interpretation of mantras and sutras, and also some poets and some prayers written by our revered monks and nuns from ancient times. So I can just say that the blessing actually came later on, the challenge actually came later on, and the inspiration actually came later on, but it never stopped until today. So until today, I still say that I'm still learning the Dharma, and it's gonna be an endless path as my music produced one more and one more and one extra more. I hope I can continue to be enriched by this marvelous teaching of this whole universe. Okay.
You'll be
Back
pleased
to
to
you.
know that one of your songs was playing at the Katina ceremony.
Oh, really? Which is it? Can you
this morning.
remember? Would you
I
be
think
able
it
to
was
hum it?
I think it was your rendition of the Nidana Sutra. Of the Nidana Sutta. It was because it was a Theravada, so it would have been one of the Theravada renditions.
Mhm.
And it
Or
was
is it Ratana Sutta? Is it
Ratana
Ratana
Sutra.
Ratana
Ratana
Sutta? It
Sutta,
should be Ratana
probably.
Sutta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 In any case, Drukmo, please tell us about your story and your inspiration.
Oh yeah, lasso. I'm very very much thankful for Shirab and Raymond to create this space, to invite me to be in the same space as Achay Miwi, because I look up to her since long time. Of course, I did not know her until I came to the West about 8 years ago. Before that, I was born and grew up in Tibet. And when I came, I was coming to work with one of the international organizations that promote and preserve Tibetan medicine in the West, mainly in Europe and US. And so my main job was to actually give lectures and demonstrations of Tibetan medicine and theories and culture that are connected to Tibetan medicine. But to lectures, very few amount of people came. And then my friends and organizers started noticing that I also enjoy singing in my leisure time. And then they asked me, "Oh, what if you sing one or two songs before and after lecture? Maybe more people come to listen to Tibetan medicine." Then I thought, okay, I can prepare. So I just sang one or two songs. Usually I sang, at the time I sang some Tibetan folk songs. And then people started asking me, "Oh, Rumula, can you also sing some mantras and prayers?" And I actually didn't know that there are musical form of mantras and prayers, because I come from a very small village in northeastern Tibet. The culture is not very multiple. It's quite prominently Buddhist context, so I don't have any comparisons to kind of explore. It was rather just living according to Buddhist ethics, and it was linear. Yeah. It has its benefits, so I'm pretty rooted in my own practice since young, but it also has its like limitation, where I didn't know there are so many diverse ways of connecting to all to people or beings of all path, yeah, all types of path. So when I came, then when they suggested, I started searching. Then that's where I heard Aja Emiwi's music, and I was so inspired. I started stalking her. I read her history, whatever was available online, and then I was
Okay.
very inspired that she started doing this almost 2 decades ago. And I thought, wow, this is such a powerful and like kind of setting no boundaries, like boundless way to connect people with Dharma path or Dharma values. Then I also got inspired, but I myself took some time. So I found Ajahn Muri's and also Ani Choindroma, Kesong Chujila, and different Dharma musicians' performance. And it took me almost 2.5 years to kind of set my own first album. I was partly a bit shy and partly feeling that, will this be commercialized, or will it really help people? So I was struggling myself for a long time. And I'm thankful to my own teacher, Dr. Nida Chenotangla, he really like pushed me towards that direction. He said, if you feel very uncomfortable, go to do retreat. First to do retreat, and then during the retreat, your dreams and your whatever melody come to you will reassure your doubts. So I did quite a few weeks of retreats since 2010 until 2015, and that's kind of the period of time that I curated mantras, curated melodies, and also I started noticing some of the melodies that my family and my clan, my community sings during rituals. So I started collecting those and presented the first album in 2015. And since then, I had the privilege to be invited to different places all over the world to sing. But of course, for me, I don't really know music as a profession. I don't play much instrument. I don't know music notes. It's all by ear. And my main aim or my heart is to kind of make connection for people to care their health. Care their body health and mind health. I am I myself am benefited by learning Tibetan medicine, and I have been able to keep my own body and mind at ease and comfort. Because we all have this. We all live in the samsara, and we have this bodily condition, mental condition, and all these conditions will be constantly challenged by different outer inner obstacles. So it's unavoidable to become sick if we don't care. So that's music kind of became a beautiful channel for me to introduce Tibetan medicine. Yeah, so that's how I get into music. Thank you.
I think this is great. I think when people talk to you, or maybe journalists interview, they'll commonly ask you what the kind of inspiration and music that you have given to your listeners, to your audiences. And so I would like to reverse that question a little bit and sort of ask a little bit about what has your exploration and your playing of your music given you, and taking into account you both of you have, as you said, traveled the world. You've met all sorts of different audiences. I'm sure at least some of them have probably come up or written to you and sort of given you some interesting ideas and perspectives. What has your journey given you? Everyone knows that you've benefited many, many, many people, but now I'd like to reverse that question onto you, and maybe starting with Imee, if possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the question again? Sorry.
How has your journey? How has your journey benefited you? Yeah.
Oh. I think the most obvious benefit is like I'm not talking about my mental health, but definitely my physical health has turned completely for the better. In my mid-30s, I was suffering from a lot of things, but nothing serious. Small illnesses. Here and there. Probably from bad habit of not taking care of your food and eat on time. And in Malaysia, because of the weather, I like to drink a lot of ice, cold drinks. It's like supposedly Drukma is laughing. I think in the Tibetan traditional, especially the Eastern remedy, people try to avoid, especially women, try to avoid drinking. But I am like, you give me the coldest possible, I will just swallow everything in. It's like this like I just eat ice cream and spicy food, whatever. This is totally what my food intake is, totally contradicting to what people think a singer should live, like healthy, that kind of thing. And then you watch your nutritions. But I turned vegetarian after a while when I started, after I started, dealing more seriously and full time into the Buddhist music. So I thought, oh yeah, the first vow is like I shouldn't kill, So I turned vegetarian just by a switch of mind. So I thought, oh, my mental health is quite okay. I was not dragged back by all the yummy foods that I used to be eating, from seafood to you name it. And so the being a vegetarian has turned my life completely different. I think whatever problem that I used to have, like migraine, you name it, the list from A to Z, I probably have it. As a mid-aged woman who doesn't take care of her diet, I sleep well. I don't. I'm those musicians that I will not, sleep in the middle of the night. Like you wake up 3 a.m. and then you are inspired, start writing. I write music in any moment that I feel like, I'm ready. And in fact, one benefit, the most now I think back, the biggest confidence that I have after writing Buddhist music is that I no longer want to challenge myself and think that I could do better than the previous. That first song was sold like how many thousands of copies. Then the second one sold more than the second one. Then the second one sold, the third one sold more than the second one. But it didn't give me any pressure when I write song. It's just like, be wherever I am, the karma takes me. That's the best of that moment. I'll have to write it. And it's like no time for me to think that I need to go somewhere, search for the right energy, the right blessing, or the right inspiration. Maybe I should go to one of the mountains in Tibet. Everybody say you should just go to Tibet. You sit and watch the mountains, and then all the melodies will just swarm in, that kind of thing. But of course, I wish I could. Until today, I have not gone to any of these places because of the condition of life in Malaysia. For me, it's I have to work almost every day. It's not like I'm in a very conducive situation whereby I can just go retreat for 1 month and do nothing. I don't have the luxury. So I think in the Chinese proverb, it says 时势造英雄, but I'm not saying that I'm a hero. It means like, in the most challenging and the most unfavorable time, it made me who I am. So it's that I realized what Dharma is about. It is be just at the moment, accept whatever your karma gives you, and you and then the 3 poisons you try not to, so you shouldn't be greedy. If you feel like your chant of metta, your heart sutra was so famous and everybody's talking about it, but if your 5th or your 10th album, like the Ratana Sutta, you didn't make it even halfway there, then should I feel, depressed, or should I feel stressed, or but it only makes it, I don't even think of like I should even work harder from now on, like if it doesn't do so well. Well, I think that karma, it is that because I only suddenly, like, all the sutras and the mantras came to me. It's not possible for me to how to say, absorb and learn it, know it in my heart. People say, you sang so many Heart Sutra, you must have known the Heart Sutra inside, or you must have realized, what is the emptiness and what is that 不生不增不减不垢不净. But until today, I think I just don't have the time to learn the Dharma or go and study from some good teachers. I don't even have a guru until now that is I seriously follow, but everybody is my guru. So in that case, so I just give myself, if you can call it an excuse, it's like I just don't have the time. to understand. Like now I'm writing Fa Hua Jing, the Miao Fa Li Hua Jing. You know, it's like, it's just chapters and chapters. Do you think if I'm going to like really understand at least 30% of what it's talking about, and that like the 境界, I have to go into that kind of 境界, then only the melody or the you know, the inspiration will come. I think probably this life I will not be able to make it. Just like how I wrote the 地藏经, the Siddhivagava Sutra in 2 years. But you know, how much do I really know about his vows, you know? And do I also take that vows and understand that, you know, by writing these sutras, that how I'm going to influence people who recite it, and you know, so I always say I'm like a hapas nowhere Dharma practitioner, but I just take my path, my steps every day as it is. Maybe tomorrow I will sort of 退步. You know, I'm not saying that every day I'm always advancing and regress. Maybe I will progress, maybe I'll regress. I don't know. Maybe suddenly when you know, like these 2 years during the COVID, you know, with all the stress and all the problem, maybe my Dharma practice has regressed. I became more agitated. Maybe I'm not so forgiving, you know, and you know, I don't know, but I take it with a pinch of salt and say that, oh yeah, my music will continue, because I felt that, like what Drukmo said, you are one of those people who inspire me, like telling me, like, you know, oh, Imee has done so many. Imee Acha, what you call it? That you said something. That's like sister, right?
Yes.
You
yes.
use the tip. Yeah, okay. So now suddenly I felt that I have to set a good example, because I did it much earlier than so many of the people who wants to come and join this wagon, or whatever, the train of Buddhist music, you know. So I felt that I got to stay on steering it well myself, you know. I won't say that I'm always going to be the leader, but at least I have started off the engine rolling, and so, you know, that the stubborn side of me, you say that nowhere I should just let go. So it becomes like a 不退转之心. So how you say it in English? 不退转之心. Partly is because Dharma has benefited my life so much that I felt like a much more enlightened person. You know, I more conscious in many things. When I want to deal with a lot of things, I suddenly can have more wisdom and consciousness to deal with it. Even it might not be the best way of dealing with it, but I find that I always be able to manage it, instead of putting me into a position where I felt hopeless and helpless and you know, full of cries and suffering. So this is more or less what happened to me since I started doing music.
Your contrast. I mean, there might be a contrast in the sense that you say that you have at present do not follow a particular teacher, whereas the guru principle in Tibetan Buddhism, in Vajrayana tradition, is probably, as I understand it, the most important connection. And so, Drukmo, you know, maybe you'd like to take on this discussion point. I leave it up to you. But you know, how have you benefited from your music, from and from people sharing their thoughts with you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Tujiche, at the moment I was so focused on Gyal Miri's path, and I already forgot my own answers.
That's all right. We're all having fun here. It's all right.
God. Give me a second. I think, yeah. If I may, I would like to comment on the guru idea. Actually, guru in guru is a Sanskrit word. Yeah, in Tibetan we call it lama, and in fact, at least from my Enigma teachings that I've got, guru has as you said, guru has so important place in Tibetan Buddhism, especially. I also had this idea like, oh, what? Because I met a lot of people in the West that didn't have the karma, or didn't want to follow one guru, or didn't have this kind of like feeling that like, for example, my grandfather, who's leader of local ngakpa, like this. It's like a lay practitioner of Tibetan Buddhism, but they, like Guru Rinpoche behind me. Yeah, Guru Rinpoche started two groups of kind of Dharma practitioners in Tibet. One is white group, one is red group. So red are the celibacies, and white are the lay people. So they usually have this, their dressing code is long hair. So men and women both leave long hair, and they will have big rasta. And then they have this dress that some places pure white, some places white and red together. So my grandfather is one of those ngakpas, and he only met his lama in his late 30s, and before that he had, of course, local teachers, but not like this root lama, root guru feeling. And he met this root guru. He only met him for a day, and he got all the empowerment, and he just devoted to that guru for his whole life. He passed away last year, and it's a lifetime. So for me, I live in a different era as my grandfather and my parents. So it's totally, even for me, it's difficult to understand how can you follow that. Yeah. Like I think I'm more greedy. I need some contact with my guru. So I started exploring on this guru concept. Like, is it really necessary to have like a physical emanation of guru in this lifetime that you can keep contact with? La la la. And my teacher explained to me. He said, actually, there are 5 types of guru that we speak about. First is called root guru. So the guru that help us to realize our true nature. I guess that's the type of guru my grandfather met. And the second is lineage guru. So if you follow a lineage, then the starting of that lineage, for example, I follow Yuto Nintik. Yuto is the father of Tibetan medicine. So for me, Yuto is my lineage guru. So he's not a physical being. He has been a historical being. Yeah. And third one is guru of all phenomena. So anything that happens around you in the phenomena that teach you impermanence, teach you Dharma principles, then that is called guru of all phenomena. So I was hearing that Ajala was saying that she learns Dharma lessons from everything. So it's like guru. And fourth, it's called black guru. And black guru refers to the Buddhist texts, because in the old time there's no printing machine or whatever. Everything was handwritten, so they really like take care of the book, and they keep the book for so long, and they chant every day, so the pages turn from white to yellow, yellow to black. So like
Okay.
in the museums you see old pages are all turning black, yellow black. So that's called black guru. And if you follow text, it's black guru, you follow guru. And then fifth guru is called guru, I don't know how to translate, guru of death. Guru that teach you how to face death. Yeah. So different type of guru. Then it kind of helped me to process my own doubts and puzzles when I meet people, different people who have different karma path. And I think physicality of guru is not the only type of guru we look for. So physicality is just easier to kind of, because we can touch, we can talk. So it's like that. And now I speak about my benefit I get from singing Dharma music, I think it really helped me to strengthen and maintain my faith. Especially my age, very fewer and fewer people have a spiritual path or choose spiritual path because so much obligations, not very convenient lifestyle. And of course the digitalized life is looking for convenience and speed, but traditional life is looking for like this pacing yourself, and you have to take things slower. It's not easy to kind of I feel like I'm always a bit torn. When I was a bit younger, when I was 16, I remember I feel very torn because school education was like this very progressive kind of environment. When I go home, it's like this, it's just relax. So I was like, okay, where should I go? I think medicine really gave me this non-bipolaric approach or non-binary approach to kind of embrace whatever that comes. They may look binary in the samsaric views, but in fact they're not binary. It's just I am creating this binary in my head. Yeah. And so the more I see different people of different paths, different religions, they come to music because music is kind of beyond religion. Yeah? They really enjoy the melody, they enjoy the voice, and they enjoy the music, the musicians, and they come to the concert. Even they are Catholics, they can be Muslims, they can have their religion, or they can be just spiritual. They come, yeah. And of course, I also have this worry about falling into this like new age. The things that people fear about new age. New age is beautiful. I'm not saying it's bad, but new age also kind of lost its initial goal, and then it's just becoming a platform for commercialization. And so I also kind of am aware of that. So at the moment, I think what I learn is I have what I get from this journey is I have been really understanding there's no difference between faith, how people walk into their faith, whatever they name their faith. The faith and this bodhisattva is within us. So I really very much value people of faith, and I am encouraged to become a faithful person or faithful being myself on the kind of premise where I don't think that Buddhism is best or ba bi bong, that's what I learned. Yeah, like I don't build my faith on this comparison, on this like, oh, the best. I look for the best, but everything is best. And like Ajala said, that she's has a long way ahead to learn, and I have so much more to be experienced as long as this body endures and let me go on. Yeah, thank you.
I think you raise a interesting point, like, in the sense that when it comes to learning and practice, I mean, like, religion and music are a little bit similar, aren't they? Because it's one thing to read the suttas, to read the scriptures, and it's one thing to learn to read music. Notes on pages and the breaks and the I unfortunately, much to my regret, I don't know how to read music, and so that's something that I admire very much. But if you don't play it, if you don't actually bring those notes to life and actually sing and play instruments, yeah, you run into the same issue that I think many Buddhist masters have said as well. It's one thing to pursue it intellectually, but without some form of practice, it's not really a lived journey or vocation. I think both of you have alluded to it, and it's the in some sense the elephant in the room. It's been a particularly difficult few years for one could say human civilization and the planet, and 2022 does not seem to really have much let up. It's only given us more instability. So I would like to ask you, what do you find helps you reorient yourself to mindful calm and emotional equanimity amidst troubling times, whether it's personal or whether it is in more widely? Can we start with you, Imee?
Yeah, actually, many have asked me the same question over the years, be it in a talk like this or an interview on a magazine. But when I'm asked question like this, I start thinking. Actually, I don't have an answer for this because I'm proud to say, or maybe I shouldn't use the word proud, because we are supposed to be humble Buddhists. But I am lost of word to say that to describe this condition of mind. That I don't often think of what you have just asked me. I never often think about myself because I think I'm given so much responsibility, or maybe we just say workload. Be it is faith, or it is just because I did it well and I did it early, I did it first. So it becomes like my position in such a day that every day I have endless of things to do. And I never actually, if I say regretfully, or I should say I should repent, that I never look into myself. And the question you just asked me, I also forgot what you just asked me, but I remember the gist of it. It's just like I don't reflect on myself and say that, because there's so much to do, and I know whatever I'm doing definitely can only lead me to more wisdom if I take it.
I understand
correctly.
where you're coming from. You don't feel self-indulged. You feel like
No.
yeah. Go on.
Go ahead. I
No,
think
no,
I
no.
want you to rephrase that question. What is the word that you used just now?
There's a danger. There's this danger of slipping into this sort of like always thinking about one's own journey.
Oh yeah.
And it can border on certainly. Whereas self-indulgence, whereas you just simply do.
Yeah,
walk
because
walk the path. There's not much time for thinking.
Yeah. There's not much time for thinking, and of course, when 法师 say, 我们要发菩提心 so we 发菩提心，我们是行菩萨道。So I say, 好的法师。It's like I'm so happy doing what I am, and I see people so happy listening to my music. I get so not excited. I get so inspired. It's like I just keep on moving. 好的 everything is 行菩萨道，好的。Then when I see 地藏王菩萨 I say, 如果我有这个能力，我也要做地藏王菩萨的侍者，我可以下地，我不一定要去极乐世界，因为我不喜欢很多颜色的，因为我只穿黑色。I make a joke like this. I just can I be地藏菩萨's assistant. So I am like that kind of you can say bubbly kind of character, but at the same time because I just don't think of myself. So recently when I come in, maybe it's like when you age, your physical body has got not that much of engine power to sustain what your mind is, doubling and tripling with more and more things, but your body it's like getting weaker. And so sometimes I get hit by sicknesses, or I say, 为什么会这样？我做不到 and everything. Then the monks and nuns will say, or my 师兄 will say, 要做菩萨是这样的咯, if you took the vow, so what you expect yourself to be? Then I say, oh yeah, okay. So we use the Malaysian word, we call it tahan. Tahan means you endure, you have the patience, and you just in China we call 牛逼, that kind of thing. So I don't know 我是不是牛逼，我是不是真的是这样 I don't know. Maybe one day I will just regress, Raymond, what you just told me that word, I have to think about it. But I will not think of it until it happens. If really one day my conscious tell me, hey, look, Imee, better look at yourself now. 你有没有观察你自己的心，观察你自己 But I can just say I'm so blessed with the daily life. It is full of responsibility that I only see that it will do good to many people if I do it right. But so far, I think I did it quite well, and the music has been received well. I could still sing. I could still come up with nice melody for whatever mantras, be it for COVID repellent, like some kind of, even when Wuhan was starting with the pandemic, before it becomes a pandemic, it was still the Wuhan, when it's still called the Wuhan Fei, I already received lyrics from China that they asked me to sing that mantra. The lyrics is like 加油加油 Wuhan 加油 then something like some kind of prayers that will sort of make the COVID go away. I already did that in the early 2020. So this is what my interesting life is all about. It's like it's always 加油加油加油 and so when Raymond and so many people ask me the question, actually I never thought of it, but I don't know whether I should one day think of it.
I think in many of the great epics of human literature, like Achilles and Hercules and all these great heroes, do you notice something when you read about these great heroes? They never think that much. They don't really. There's not much inner dialogue going on here. They just do things. They go out there and kill monsters or fight wars, or they just do whatever that they are doing. And I completely sympathize with this state of mind. I really don't mean it in any sort of implying anything. To not think too much that would border on like a sort of vicious cycle of like self indulgence or anything like that, because you are too busy spreading the word. You are too busy embodying Dharma, working for the Dharma, embodying the hero, like quite literally the hero motivation, which is they just do their thing. And I think that's very admirable. I completely sympathize with this idea. It's like, I actually haven't really thought of it, or I don't know what to say if you press me about it. I would like to ask you, Drukmo, like, do you feel any affinity with this idea, or do you approach it from a different angle? And in relation to COVID as well, now that we're recovering now, but worlds is still pretty unstable, that sort of thing.
Could you rephrase could you remind me the initial question? I've already forgot.
Well, the original question was, what do you find helps you reorient yourself to emotional equanimity, mindful calm, and Imee pointed out that that's not something that I just reflect so much on. I just do Dharma. I just got too much to do, and so perhaps you've got similar ideas or approach things from a different angle.
First, I would like to share one thing that came to me when I finished hearing Ajay Imee's idea. I remembered this teaching. It's just one sentence from Yutok, the father of Tibetan medicine. He said, "Drupa tang drupa tinyamba," which actually translates to accomplishing and enlightening happens in the same time. So basically, he says that when you do practice, when you do bodhicitta practice, and enlightening is actually together. They go in the same time. Because he was a doctor in the 8th century Guru Rinpoche time. He was a doctor, and after 4 centuries, he came back with the same name. So we have two Yutos, Yuto the elder and Yuto the younger, and they are both doctors. So they believe that their practice is healing. So 70% of their time is on patients, and only 30% is on spiritual practice. So they do their retreats. That's why also Yutonintik, for example, the preliminary practice, Mundu practice, is only 7 days. In comparison to Nyingma traditional Mundro, the launching into one is like 6 months to 3 years. Yeah. It's not very practical for doctors, especially because if all doctors want to do 3-year retreat like that, then patients have nowhere to go. So Yuto said, the younger Yuto, he decided to spread the Nyingtik practice, the spiritual practice, outside of Yuto family. Since 12th century, and he said anyway, people if they practice medicine, they don't have time to do like traditional full-time practitioner. They have to have a job and do their dharma practice through this path. May they be doctors or other professions. So that should take 70%. And then the rest 30% should be on the personal spiritual practice. Be balancing this life conditions like our body and mind, and because if this is not balanced, then what we produce is also affected. So I'm very much inspired by Achemi's story. She was sharing the becoming vegetarian under the influence. This is it's not easy. I met so many people who fall in and fall out from the vegetarianism. Some because of health. They are not everybody's body is suitable for long-term vegetarianism. Some, but 60-70% of bodies, if you take care well, vegetarianism actually brings more health benefits than but there are certain a group of people whose body, if I speak from medical terms, medicine believes our body is made of 5 elements. And the 5 elements, if the wind, the air element is too imbalanced, if the person is born with a already wind element quite imbalanced, then it's quite important to eat some animal protein. Otherwise, the body can develop neurological conditions over time. So, for example, these things need investigation, need talking to professional doctors and therapists to kind of maintain, yeah. And so I think it's wonderful that Achala can. It's because Achala has already, been on that path, and really, as she says, that it's a luxury to go to retreat. And I
oh my God, it is. Would you like to invite me to Estonia? Just give me a break. So I have a reason. See, I'm going to sing with Drukmo, and then there I go,
It's like it's a real situation, because Achala reflects this city life. In the city, it is like the rhythm of life. It is that fast, and you just are filled with all the web connections, and Achala can maintain that web nicely. This is for me already a testimony of balance and Dharma practice. What more can there be?
I don't know. I'm very afraid that I might regress. This is the one word I learned, a new word. I always say we can never say that we have already achieved enlightenment in a certain level, or consciousness or balance, until the day we breathe our last breath. Because I think if the last breath, we can, that one mind that is like the 临终意念 can take us up to that level. It can also make us fall. It can also make us a fallen human being. Is what I said. So everybody asked me to, so I always wonder, one day maybe we can go into this conversation with you probably have more guru that, when you say enlightenment, and just now you say the what is that word?
Accomplishment.
Accomplishment. Yeah. So, but they all depends on what is your how do you define enlightenment? So I think everybody is talking about different level of enlightenment. And I hear everybody say, oh, he's already an enlightened guru, he's an enlightened monk, or he's an enlightened lay person. Then after a while you see some actions and some things happen, and then you wonder, so what happened? So does enlightenment also regress? So to me, enlightenment means there's no regress, means like this is it, that is the eternal. So to me is this, I don't know, anyway, this is we are already out of the 离题了
It's an important discussion. I think it's very
yeah.
nice.
And also vegetarianism, I think maybe we can ask more people. Like for me, it's just a thought. Like today, I'm still eating my steak, and somebody asked me, would you like to turn to be vegetarian? You are quite famous now. You will look good if you are a vegetarian. Oh yeah, why not? I said, when? Tomorrow. And tomorrow I actually turned vegetarian. I never looked back, and I never touched a piece of meat since then. So I think it is kind of like, it's also my kind of, hao qiang, when I was young. It's like, I don't want to, when I make something, I make a what, I try to hold it on till I can't, but so far so good. But I suffer sometimes. I know I'm not talking about this food thing, but a lot of other things. When I say, oh yeah, I can take it. And when you say, okay, Imee, would you like to take on this responsibility? Oh yeah, sure, I can do it. Oh yeah. So I start saying yes to everybody. Now this body, it's showing the repercussion of this saying yes to everybody. So the nuns who are very close to me say, please learn to say no, no. But I try to reflect, but I felt that I can't say no. Very difficult, because I'm not saying no to things that is materialistic, or just like 钱赚不完的啦, the kind of thing I find it doesn't apply to me. It's not. In fact, it's totally not the case. But it is like just serving and serving and serving. So while I think this session can still hold on to it, and my mind is still okay, let's continue. Okay.
I just want to comment on this wording, because I think when we are what we use to spread dharma is words and music.
Words,
and then word a lot of the time are translated. So when it's translated into a certain language, for example, now we're using English, and the word enlightenment is actually rooted in the European Enlightenment era. So it actually conveys another sense of idea, and Westerners use this word because for them this was a similar thing, and they use this word to describe. I can only speak from Tibetan language because that's what I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Again, I think in Sanskrit or Bali, we will be, maybe it conveys a different layer of information, So in Tibetan, when we say drupa tong drupa, it's not a dot. It's actually a line.
Not
it goes on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like enlightened finito. It's an ongoing process. It's like it's just ongoing and going and going until Acharya says this last breath. So until last breath. So that's why it says drupatang drupati nyamba, which when I translate, I also use ing. I use
ing.
Yeah,
Ongoing.
I'm ongoing. So I say accomplishing So you're doing the thing, accomplishing, and whatever the condition our wherever our body and mind are, whatever conditions us from a child, conditions us to become, to do, and that is what we think is righteous, what we think is beneficial, and we just do. So that's the accomplishing, and then enlightening. So they are in the same time.
All right.
Yeah, so in the Tibetan
Great.
language, it's conveying this like ongoing process. It's not a
Okay.
doctrine. Yeah.
All
So
right.
that's quite
Thank you. I learned something. I learned something today.
Thank you. I hope
Thank you.
I'm not.
No,
yeah.
not at all. Actually, I think we're actually right on time. We have I think we've had a very fruitful discussion. Perhaps something that our listeners, wherever they might be, were not quite expecting, because which I was hoping for. I wanted our esteemed guests tonight to share something that perhaps they don't usually, talk about, at least not in such an extended format. And so I very much appreciate your insights about your own spiritual life and your own, philosophy is a little bit high-minded, but let's use that word, like your own philosophical reflections on the path. I think before we close, we could perhaps see if there's any questions from the floor or from listeners, and if not, we can do a brief dedication, and then finish up our session. No question from the floor so far. So all right, then let's. I was thinking, would anyone be interested to just share a few musical notes from your repertoire? And if not, then I would just simply pass on back to.
Yes, I would love to, because I want to hear Drukmo sing first. Okay. Okay, I have an idea.
Fantastic.
I'm always in this position of a producer and director more than a singer. So I always like to direct people. Sorry for my this, 职业病. Because I know that I'm going to talk to you tonight. So last 2 days I've been scrolling through some videos of yours. You sang that Fei Wong's version of the Heart Sutra in Taiwan somewhere.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was lovely, because you sound just like her, if not better. Because I didn't hear Fei Wong sang live, but it was like at the end of some movies that大地震 something, and then they played that song.
I think
Then I heard you. Was there a live musician then? I couldn't see because it was quite the camera wasn't very clear. Were you singing to the pre-recorded music, or there were musicians in front of you? Can you still remember?
Yeah, it was an orchestra of 80 people.
Oh, great!
Live.
Wow. But was it in Taiwan or in China?
Yeah, Taiwan.
And what was the occasion?
It was Linzhou Mountain.
Okay, Linzhou Mountain. Okay.
新道法师.
Okay.
So Fashi, and they did this huge annual ritual, and they actually wanted to invite Wang Fei, but they couldn't get her, so they said, my voice is very similar, so they asked.
So I'm going to ask a sort of a professional question, because that one song, when I first heard Fei Wong sang in the movie, I found that melody is really very, very difficult to memorize, because it wasn't very, a lot of turns and turnings, and it was quite flat in within few notes, and then it was really like free rhythm, kind of free tempo kind of thing.
Yeah.
So may I ask you how you memorized the whole song without looking at the score, or you were reading from somewhere? You memorized the whole thing.
Yeah, I memorized maybe within 1 day. I heard it maybe.
wow, that means you have a very good memory and you can just memorize. Because from my point of view, this is a very difficult song to remember, because some songs, when you have the melody lines, up and down, then you turn to the chorus, it's easy to memorize. But this is like so 空灵.
Yes. Yes.
And then in between, when go, it's more or less the same thing. So
Yes.
it's very easy that you will get lost somewhere.
I,
So I'm just gonna take my hats off to you. I wanted to ask you that question yesterday when I heard that song. Raymond, you should go and check it out. It's a lovely
I will.
rendition from Drukmo. Yeah. So
Thank
and then
you.
okay. So are we supposed to sing? You have your
Could
green
I
tara and
inspire both of you to create a sort of song to remind people of the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. That is something that you two would like to address. I mean, something that you could maybe that you've already
Four Noble
written produced about the Four Noble Truths and the
苦
Noble
集灭
Eightfold.
道.
Yeah.
So maybe I should ask Raymond to write the contents. Then we will just put notes and sing.
Oh, I'm not a songwriter.
What to write about the Four Noble Truths?
I can barely write poetry. I'm not that kind of.
But your English
right.
is so good, and then you study Buddhist.
Study means jack all. When it comes to actual poetic inspiration, you've got to have a certain inclination, much like creative creators, like musicians and singers. But I very much appreciate the sentiment. Certainly, one of the very interesting things that I think you guys have to balance is this idea of fidelity to the doctrines, to what Buddhism authentically teaches. I think both of you have that at the back of your minds every day, every time you create new music. But yeah, at the same time, it is interesting. I don't know myself, but is it a difficulty or is it something liberating? I don't know. I don't want to make judgments. But to balance those two, just like musical creativity with making sure, what I'm talking about, the Four Noble Truths, I'm talking about the Bodhisattvas, I'm talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, that this is Buddhism, on the straight and narrow. But I think, if no one has anything to share, particularly in terms of the music, please let me know if I'm mistaken. I think we can sort of close up with a wonderful evening.
No. Give us 2 minutes. Because I want Drukmo
Sorry,
and me to sing the Green Tara mantra. Each of us take 20 seconds. Just because we sing the same mantra, I think she's well known for her Green Tara mantra. So you just sing that to us and I will sing my continue after you. Why not?
Okay.
Let's do it. Because 我们还没有同台就是唱诵. So maybe we should start now and open up the future possibility. Maybe we should plant the seed today. I would really so much like to be performing with you one day.
Yeah, right. I'm feeling so authentic inside and very happy.
Okay. So
yeah, I will do this short prayer of this Green Tara, and then I start mantra. You are the mother, Tara, who liberates us from samsara. With the word tutare, you free us from the 8 fears. With ture, you protect us from all illnesses. So we praise and bow to the mother who liberates, thus make these praises. Korlali jodarima, tu dara injujedo, tu re nawanam lijo, 竹马来阳上残路。Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha.
Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Soha. Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Soha. Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Soha. Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Soha. Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Soha. Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Soha. Om Dare Du Dare Du Re Soha. May all be well and safe.
Yeah. Tahidele.
Nothing more needs
Nice.
to be said. Thank you both.
So
so
Raymond,
much.
are you going to plan for us a concert in Hong Kong soon?
I'd love to. It would be my pleasure. Hong Kong's
Okay.
opening back up again, so
All
actually
right,
that's
all
amazing.
right, all right. Let's
So
go do
thank
some
you both
prayers.
so much.
All
A
right.
good night to both
Good
of
night.
you.
Good
Thank you
night.
so much for coming
Thank
and
you.
sharing your music and your thoughts.
Thank you.
Hello, Samisha, Samisha. Both of them are called Samisha. One with the double E and one with an I.
Yes.
So how
Yeah.
do you like, little girl? Do you like our conversation?
Oh, it was so inspiring and like so moving. Like both of your stories was so inspiring. I really enjoyed
Great.
it very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so and then I would like to thank
Mm.
you. Thanks to everyone for this beautiful conversations. And I think okay, we have some upcoming events, so let us announce that, and then we would conclude this session. So on the 13th of November, we would be having a guided meditation led by Myongan Suni, which will be on the Zen of Impermanence. Yeah. And then let's conclude this session with dedication. So, Samiksha?
So I may request first Sister Imee to dedicate a small prayer.
Me. Okay. I would like to just say the verses of repentance in Mandarin. Okay. 往昔所造诸恶业，皆由是汤正直，从生因欲是所生。我今一切皆忏悔。Thank you.
Thank you, Sister.
Thank you all.
Now Brother Raymond, yes, would you like to recite some short dedication prayer from your side?
Uh, I'll simply be happy to read out the four great vows. I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
I because there's no way I'm singing after what Drukmo and Imee. I am not humiliating myself on camera like that. So I was just simply say sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Illusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. May all beings be well, happy, and safe. Thank you so much for putting that on the screen. That made
Thank you, brother.
you safe.
Uh, Now, Sister Drukma Gal, would you like to recite something?
I will do the short dedication prayer. By the merit of all conversations and practices that we have done, and may all sentient beings be placed on the same level as we wish for ourselves, our beloved ones, and those who we have and have not karma to meet and be connected with in this life.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Shamishka,
That's all for
thank
tonight.
you.
Good night.
Shamishka, thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye,
Yeah.
Drukmo. Bye, Raymond.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Achala.
See you again end of the
Yes.
month. Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Can't wait. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.